What up? It's your boy, Gold Fang, Slyy. And we coming here to talk to y'all today about chapter 1090 of One Piece. Now, it's gonna kind of be a review, gonna kind of be some just me bringing up some points and some issues that I noticed or that I thought might be interesting to talk about based off of what happened in this chapter. So, without further ado, let's get started. I'm gonna take it over to me, and me is gonna give you the news on chapter 1090. So, the chapter starts with Luffy talking to the Five Elders, telling them, oh yeah, I'm gonna be king of the pirates. Oh yeah, you guys better back off, because we're with Vegapunk. If you don't want York to get hurt, then leave us alone. Gorosei are like, okay, that's interesting. But quick question, how many people are with you? And Luffy, being Luffy, is like, oh well, if you count the injured people, then we have about and then Robin's like, shut up, Luffy. Hang up the phone. And I want to stop right here and talk about this for a couple reasons. One, Robin and Luffy's dynamic is always one that I enjoy. I love the dynamic between Robin and Luffy because Robin is always like, ever since the Alabasta and Enies Lobby incidents, Robin is kind of like the big sister that Luffy, quote unquote, kind of had with Makino, but since leaving the village didn't have. And that's Robin. Robin's the one who's like, oh, I totally understand what you're getting at. I totally get your brain. But me being smarter, I'm gonna break this down for you so you'll understand. Like, it's just always their little interactions. Like the time on Punk Hazard, where both Robin and Luffy can't swim. So in Robin's head, she's imagining what Luffy just said by Usopp and Zoro carrying them across the waters, by them just being on their back swimming. And you see the little image, and I'm such a fan of Robin's dark humor. It's crazy. But moreover, the dynamic between Robin and Luffy is always going to be fun because she's like an older sister type mother type to him, and it's like so cool. But she also has like complete faith in this man that no matter what, he's gonna protect me. This is like, these are my friends. So, moving on from there, we get a panel of everybody else in the room. Rob Lucci's there, Kaku's there, everybody's there. Everybody who we didn't see last chapter, they're there. Robin and Kaku are the most injured. We are down 2 Vegapunks. Shaka and I believe Pythagoras are dead, while the rest of them are either injured or slightly injured or varying degrees of injury. So, we're cutting through this. Rob Lucci is being shady. He's talking to himself, but he also shows concern for Kaku. And this is why I bring this up, because like, do you think Rob Lucci actually cares about his friends like Kaku, Jabra, the rest of CP9? Or do you think he's like more of, this is my team, you know, whatever? Because I just find it interesting that he's encouraging Kaku because Kaku's down in the dumps. Because apparently Kaku took on 2 Seraphim? 2 Seraphim. Which ones though? Because I feel like that matters. But also, he ain't doing so hot. But he's showing like encouragement and concern for Kaku. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it, man. Like, just rest up. But he's also being super shady, talking to himself. And it's just like, what's going on with you, Rob? Like, what's up with you? You show concern about the government's orders that they're giving you at the beginning of this arc. So you're already questioning things. But then you're like, oh, we're going to follow orders. We're going to kill the Vegapunk. But then you get to the island, and your orders are specifically not to attack the Yonko Straw Hat Luffy, and you're like, fuck that, I'm gonna do it anyway. Now it's like, where do you stand with the government, sir? Like, are you just that dedicated to your job, or like what's going on here? But anyways, we also learned that Rob Lucci is we already knew this. We already knew he was an incredibly petty person, but the pettiness, they just double down on the pettiness. Because this entire chapter, he is side-eyeing Stussy. And Stussy even calls him out on it. She's like, bro, stop staring at me. So this petty man, Rob Lucci, is just giving information to the government and side-eyeing Stussy because she betrayed him. Like, it's funny stuff, bro. It's funny stuff. Couple more things from the beginning of this chapter, right? So, Big News Morgans, Vivi, and Wapple are all eavesdropping on the conversation between Luffy and the Gorosei. That's one. Two. York has put a password on the Labo phase so they cannot escape the Labo phase as of right now until the password has been cracked. She did not share this password with Punk Records. So what this means is that the Vegapunks can keep certain information from being shared with the rest of them via Punk Records. So that's news. Also, York is a terrible person, but also smart. She understands that the only protection provided to her in this situation is, one, the password, and two, the fact that if she was to be harmed, now that she has been promised by the Gorosei that she is not going to be harmed, that this would be a Buster Call incident, or similar to a Buster Call incident, because we have way more people than a Buster Call here. But it would be tantamount to an attack causing the temporary peace or whatever is going on right here to break down, because her life is now valuable to the world government. So she's flexing these facts, and I guess she kind of understands that the Straw Hats aren't really bad people, so they're not really gonna outright kill her. But she's using this to her advantage. She's talking smack. She says, "Oh yeah, you can't do nothing, because if you do, just turn this into another Ohara." And Nami immediately takes exception to that for an injured Robin. Crew W friends. It's great. It's great. It's wonderful to see that. Because why would you say that in front of the only survivor of Ohara? You terrible person. Like, God. But anyway, that's just some stuff I forgot to touch on for the first part of the chapter. We're gonna move on. We're gonna keep going. So, after this, we are now at the part where we are talking amongst ourselves, amongst the crew, trying to figure out what's going on. And the idea here is that when they freed the main body Vegapunk, they found all the CP0 agents, they trapped all the Seraphim and in the indestructible bubbles, the sea stone bubbles, and they have given food to the CP0 agents because, you know, we're good guys. There was no way Sanji or Chopper was gonna go for letting these guys starve. We understand that. So while we are checking on these guys down here, they're like, "Oh, thank you for the food," whatever. We check on the Seraphim, who are also down here in the sea stone bubbles, as I said. We get a little bit more personality from S-Hawk. He's talking smack. He's like, "How dare you put us in these bubbles? Like, I'm not sure what this means." But also with the next point I'm about to bring up, I feel like this is something the world government should have thought more thoroughly about. Because this is a major design flaw and you set yourself up for failure. So, with S-Hawk showing a little bit more personality, oh, why are you going to put us in these bubbles, da 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 da, that's all well and good. I'm not sure what's going on with S-Hawk, but I'm pretty sure he's inherited Mihawk's just like, I want to be left alone. Like, I just want to be to myself and do what I want to do. I'm pretty sure that's his deal. But we get to S-Snake, aka Baby Boa, and Frankie says, oh, thank you for unpetrifying us. That was really helpful of you. And she's just like, ... Okay, whatever. Here comes the main Vegapunk now, and he's like, huh, that's strange. I don't remember programming this behavior into her. So then we get a flashback to where it shows that the only reason that Baby Boa S-Snake unpetrified anybody is because she also is in love with Luffy. This is mind-blowing because one, it says that these Seraphim, these clones, have wills of their own. And not only do they have wills of their own, they have genetic traits that have been passed down from the people they're cloned from. And apparently, Boa's love for Luffy is so deep, DNA deep, that her clone is in love with Luffy. Now, that the one hand on that is okay, yeah, Boa, cool. I understand that, but let's focus on like the story applications of this revelation. We know for a fact there is a S-Bat/S-Gecko little clone Moria. There is a little clone Crocodile and a little clone Doflamingo somewhere out here in the world. So you're telling me these clones can not only overpower direct orders due to their own willpower, but they share traits with the people they've been cloned from. These three little niggas were cloned off some of the most ambitious people we've seen in the story thus far. Yes, Moria got lazy, but young Moria had ambition. Young Moria fought Kaido, and we can never forget that. Like, all it's gonna take is for fucking S-Flamingo to be out on a mission with like some random marine dudes off direct orders, and he's gonna have probably like a vice admiral or two with him, and all it's gonna take is for this nigga to get triggered by something, anything really, because Doflamingo was easily triggered. So if you have a clone that shares his DNA, what makes you think, and has their own willpower based off the information we just got, what makes you think he's not going to be triggered by something? Like, all it takes is for this nigga to be triggered, be like, you know what, fuck this, kill everybody, and now you have a Lunarian Doflamingo on the loose. And God forbid any of these niggas link up with their originals. Like, what if S Crocodile links up with Crocodile? Come on, man. Come on. The implications of this, I just don't think the world government thought this through. And I also like that Vegapunk is taking these notes. Like, okay, this is a new development. I have to write this down. So, we get past that point. Now we're like, we have to escape. We have to get out of here. The log posts haven't reset, so the three destinations that we were pointing to when we left Wano was Egghead, Elbaf, Winter's Island. We're on Egghead. It still has one that's pointing towards Elbaf. They're like, alright, we gotta escape from here. Because the log post hasn't reset, we could just go to one of these other islands. Fucking Vegapunk is like, well, we should go to Elbaf. And This is when my nigga Luffy and Usopp start doing the Elbaf song and dance. Oh my god, I love it. It's such a wholesome callback to like Little Garden. Like these niggas have wanted to go to the land of giants for the longest time, and it's finally here. Also, we got Robin and Lil smiling in the background because we have found out, Jaguar D Saw is most likely alive and on Elbaf. So not only will we get Usopp hype for Elbaf, Luffy hype for Elbaf, but also Robin and Saul will be reunited. Great times to be a One Piece fan, man. This is great. This is great. All right, let me refer back to my notes. We'll be right back with more of this talk that we are having. Also, during the exchange with Vegapunk and S-Snake and Luffy and Frankie, we have Jinbei in the background, right? Well, not the background. He has his own panel with him and Vegapunk. They have Jinbei referencing his time spent with Luffy while the crew was separated. Because Jinbei was with Luffy on Amazon Lily after Marineford War. And he was witness to the undying love that Boa has for, Luffy. And I just think it's funny how Jinbei has been a ride or die for Luffy for so long. And it started from a place where he told Ace, like, yo, I'm not gonna respect this nigga unless he earns my respect, like, straight up. And now, like, just to have him a part of the crew and, like, to see where they came from, that journey, and Jinbei speaking on that shared history here, just having knowledge of that, it's adding validity to him being like a member of the crew and him being close to Luffy on his own right, as well as being a part of the crew. So there's that. Also, before we get to the meat and potatoes of what I want to talk about, I want to talk about real quick Luffy being the Rizzler. Luffy is the Rizzler for several reasons, but everywhere this man goes, a woman falls for his uncouth charms. And it's crazy. Luffy, man. He's a trip. So we have our heading to Elbaf. Oh yeah, our idea for how we're gonna get off the Labo phase. We have Vega Force 1, the giant robot, the Sunny. The plan is to get the Vega Force 1 to carry the Sunny as far off the shores of Egghead as possible. Because once the Vega Force gets a certain range away from Egghead Island, it will just shut down power and it'll start falling. So Frankie says, oh, okay, that's fine, don't worry about it. Once Vega Force starts losing power, we could just shoot 1 kilometer away, coup de burst, Sunny. Vegapunk's like, what? Your ship can fly 1 kilometer? What are you talking about? Frankie's like, yeah, it's powered by cola. Vegapunk's like, cola? This is amazing. So I'm glad Frankie is getting his due, because Frankie, he looks up to Vegapunk as a scientist. We know that from the time he spent on Vegapunk's home island. But also, just for him to get the credit he deserves as an inventor and as someone who powers most of his stuff and himself off of cola, like, come on, bro. Come on. I'm glad Frankie is getting his due. That's all I'm going to say on that. So, that's the plan. So we split up into groups. The Vegapunks are trying to crack York's code because they see it as a challenge, of course. 3 Vegapunks versus 1, you're not gonna outsmart us 3. So, there's that. Then, we split up into groups. We have Frankie, Lilith, and Luffy, and Bonnie heading towards the ship and Vega Force. Because they're going to get that ready while Vegapunk and the rest try and bring down the protection with the password and all this. So, while running, Bonnie mentions, like, oh, we got to grab as much food as possible. You know, she's being Bonnie. Luffy's like, don't worry about it. We got plenty of food on the ship. Sanji's a great cook. And Bonnie's like, you know what? You're right. That guy, he is a great cook, and he's strong in a fight. So we have Sanji hype, which is always good. But people are saying that this is a reason. And also Luffy's saying, hey, like, you seem different. Your mood's improved. You're not crying like you were last night. And people are taking this to say, oh, Bonnie's been replaced by Katarina Devon. And I'm not going to completely discount that theory because it's possible. It's possible. But I think the more likely event here is Bonnie saw the memories of her father. She spent most of the night crying, processing these memories, and dealing with the information that she just got. She has come to terms with it. She's given up on killing Vegapunk because she understands the reasoning behind everything that's happened now. And now she has a weight lifted off of her because she doesn't have to kill Vegapunk because she clearly kind of likes Vegapunk. She has good memories with him from being a child. And, like, you have an understanding of what's going on with your father now. Like, all the things that were troubling you are no longer troubling to you. At least not in the same degree. You feel me? So I could see her being in a better mood because of that. But also, I'm not going to discount that it might be Katarina Devon. So, we move on to get to the ship. And this is when the Goros... well, actually, we gotta cut over from Egghead to the Marine side of things. I did get a little ahead of myself. Let's reel it back. So we cut back to the Marine side of things. We have the Gorosei member, Jay Garcia 7, sitting there, and he's like, okay, after getting off the phone with Luffy, he's talking to Doberman, the Vice Admiral. He's like, all right, there's 3 things we absolutely have to protect. The factory or the fusion reactor or fission reactor that makes the Mother Flame. York, because she's the only Vegapunk that's willing to work with us. And Punk Records, because it's the collective knowledge of the Vegapunks. And we need that knowledge. So, that's the setup. They have 3 things they absolutely cannot destroy on this island. And also, Kizaru tells Jay Garcia, hey, there's a man on the island, his name is Sentomaru. Well, he didn't say his name, but we know he's talking about Sentomaru. There's a man on the island, he's dedicated to his job, he's gonna protect Vegapunk. And as soon as I show up there, he's gonna have all the Mark III Pacifista and all these mechanized sea beasts attack you guys. So, like, what do you want to do here? He's like, well, we're gonna do it anyway, but is there a way to mitigate this damage? He's like, yeah. So, as far as the sea beasts go, you got to focus on that. Don't worry about the explosions. They're not going to work on the Pacifista because they have the sea stone bubbles. So we have to get up close if we're going to attack them. We have to focus heavy close quarters combat on them, is what I believe he says, or something to that effect. But my point here is, Jay Garcia asked Kizaru, hey, your powers are light-based, the defenses are light-based, can't you not just manipulate the defenses and get inside? And Kizaru's like, yeah, I probably could, but the guy inside, he's gonna stop me, he's gonna defend me, Vegapunk, with his life. Jay Garcia's like, ignore him. He's like, Kizaru's like, I can't ignore a guy who's willing to die for his principles. So we're getting a little more insight into Kizaru's thought process, which is good. But so he does his thing. He gets on the island. Soon as he's on the island, Sentomaru knows. Sentomaru's like, all right, this is how we gonna do it, Uncle? Let's go. Full scale attack on the enemy, wipe him out. And as soon as he says that, Kizaru's coming in hot with a kick. Sentomaru blocks Kizaru's kick now. All right. Here's another controversial thing. People are saying Sentomaru should not have been able to block Kizaru because he got blitzed by Rob Lucci. My argument to that is this. Rob Lucci was bloodlusted in his awakened form and he blitzed Sentomaru. So I'm arguing that the intent behind these two attacks are different. Kizaru was attacking because, as far as we know, those are his orders, and he's gonna respect Sentomaru's will to protect Vegapunk. He's not just gonna ignore him, even though realistically I feel like he could. And also realistically, I feel like he's slightly holding back because we do know that Kizaru has known Sentomaru since he was a child. So it's like, I kind of watched this guy grow up. You know, me, him, and Vegapunk have been close for a long time. Like, this is his friend, essentially. This is as close to a friend of Kizaru as you were going to get in this story. So I do have a feeling that he's kind of holding back on his initial attack. But also, we cut back up to the top of the Labo phase where we see a bright light. Like a bright light. Enough light that is throwing shadows onto Luffy's face. That's another thing I want to get at with you guys, bro. Y'all gotta understand like what shading and perspective mean when it comes to panels. The previous panel, there's a giant light coming from below. Why wouldn't I remember it? But why wouldn't it look like that if it's lighting and shading? But that's besides the point. The point is, Luffy senses Kizaru's presence. He's like, there's a really strong opponent here. Mind you, and I will say this, I have always been of the opinion that the original three admirals are a step above or more powerful than the new class of admirals. So Green Bull, Fujitora are not on the same level as Kuzan, Akainu, Kizaru. So that's where the chapter ends. We have a break, so there's gonna be a lot of theory crafting and stuff to come with this new chapter. But I just wanted to come share some of my thoughts, let you know how I feel about it. And when the next chapter comes out, we're gonna do another one of these. There's also gonna be more content around different type of shows and different type of anime, but that's for another video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, you know what I'm saying? And join the crew, you know? Become one of the Gold Fang crew, you know? It's nice over here. It's nice on this side of the world. See you next time.